Olight finally delves into the multi-tool world with an actual plier-based multi-tool. This is something that I was wondering just how long it would take, and it's finally here. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So they finally did it. They started going with some plier-based multi-tools. They're calling this the Otacle P1. Now, if you're looking at this here, you might think this is pretty familiar, and that's because, well, it should be familiar. I covered the identical tool set when we did the next tool, Sailor Mini. The difference is that Olight is huge, and they have a lot of resources to put behind these things, including covering this tool under their own warranty program. And that actually could matter because I've only heard, at least recently, good experiences with their warranty program. So being able to get something like this and being able to use Olight's warranty, well, that actually does attract me quite a bit. I also much prefer the color combination, that all black. I mean, come on. That is definitely something I prefer. This tool is just under 3 ounces. I've actually, like I said, I've already gone over this before, but let's go ahead and talk about the tool set on this. So you have a 2-dimensional Phillips, and actually I was pretty pleased with this. It has a lanyard ring tucked in behind it, and I missed this on my last review. Underneath the flathead driver here, you have a little SIM card removal tool, which I think is a nice little touch in today's market. You have a pretty decent pair of scissors. These tested incredibly well, and this is exactly the same as with the next tool. And on the other side, we have the sheep's foot style blade, and we also have the can opener, bottle opener combo, plus the pliers that have the cutter, the large plier, and of course the fine plier. So 3 ounces, I mentioned in the video with next tool, and I will do once more. I think that this tool can be greatly improved without changing the form factor. For first things first, I would love to see them request that they get rid of these steel spacers and replace them with plastic, which will dramatically cut down on the weight, maybe even making a little bit more hollowed out parts of the handle. And when it comes to the scissor, this little piece, the part that your finger goes on, could be a lot wider, which would make it more comfortable to use. So if they cut down on the frame and extend it a little bit past the frame, you actually could use that to deploy the scissor instead. It actually would work just fine. Like if I just grab this, I could easily pull it out by that little lip, and it would even give me more leverage. So I would like to see those changes, but even without it, it's really, really good. I'd also like to see them make a bladeless version or a travel-friendly version of this tool would be fantastic, as I think that that might be harder and harder to find in the near future. So, pretty good. The real question is going to be for me, what is the price? I haven't seen it yet. I will post it right here. And also, I'm going to try to see if I can get a special discount code that will be active at all times for this, because this is something that I think at a sub $20 price point would be great for anyone, and get access, and anyone could have access to it from anywhere in the world. So I really like that. Now, I want to move on to a couple other things. I wanted to correct myself first off. The original Otacle, which is just like this, uses blades that are basically proprietary. These 3-hole setups, I wasn't really a big fan of that, but I incorrectly labeled the titanium version as a tool that has this problem, and that is my fault. It does use standardized blades, and it has a pocket clip. So I would not recommend this one per se, but the titanium variation, much better. It is nice though that they do include a spare locking screw right there with this. I'm not sure why. I would much rather them include a whole bunch of extra blades. If they're going to have proprietary blades, it should have 5 or 6 inside the box, and there are none. So unless I missed something, nope, no more. So that's something that I would like to see instead of the screw. Maybe just send 5 or 6 of these blades at the very least. All right, let's talk about this knife. So this is called the Metal. Now, I was just at Blade Show, and I got to hold some ProTech Malibus, and those are some pretty incredible, well-tuned button locks. I would argue that this is very close, if not on par, with the action that I was experiencing. And maybe it's because of the similarities in materials. This is an aluminum handle, and it just feels incredibly solid. Even the shape is reminiscent of it. This is insane. Now, O-Knife is made and OEM'd by Kaiser, so it's not a surprise to me that these are good, but I'm telling you what, they are really getting their button locks down. There is a nice firm press on this. The spring feels a lot stronger than some of the other button locks I've had in the past, I have had some button locks that are just not very strong when it comes to that detent. This is not an issue here. The only small critique I'll have is that in the future, I'd like to see the jimping be not only more aggressive, but actually be on the corner of this flipper tab. It'll make for a much better experience. But the handle is great. The jimping comes all the way up to where I expect it to be, and reminds me very reminiscent of the Freeze 2, which was, up until this point, my favorite O-Knife. I think that it's going to get supplanted by this one. Both of them are in 154 cm. This handle on this is just fantastic. I am a big fan. So I will put some images on some of the very different sales that you can get this knife with. You want to kind of see if you can find them in combination with other items, and sometimes that will drop the entirety of the prices down dramatically, so you'll get a much higher percentage off. So I will link whichever ones I think are the best ones for this knife, but this is one of the knives you don't want to miss for sure. They also have another one of their O-Pen minis. Now, I'm hoping they're on sale. I will take a look in a few minutes, but these are great small pens. They are bolt action, and they come with their gel refills. Now, if you buy a pen, I'm pretty sure you can also get a free set, a 3-pack of inserts, or at least they used to be able to. And so make sure you check that if they have the ability to get these inserts added to your cart when you do it. For this sale, you're also going to be getting this just for participating, which is great. And if you're a member already, you could just get this if you want. It's the i3E. I'm not even going to open it. I'm going to keep this one for giveaways in the future. And then the last thing that's been sitting here the whole time is this. This is called the Seeker 4 Mini. Now, I am a big fan of the Baton 3. Okay, it's what I carried when I went to Blade Show. It's very convenient, and so I'm sort of skeptical that anything's going to replace that. But this does have some unique functionality that might be worth considering. So first of all, the one thing, let me turn this light off, or turn it down for a second. Here we go, let me turn that off for a second. So if I hold press, I get moonlight like you would expect. But if I turn it off and I double press, you don't get turbo, you get this. You get a very bright UV light. I mean, this is one of the, actually, this is substantially brighter than any of the other UV lights that they use. And yeah, if this is part of something that you're interested in, I highly recommend this particular model. It's not a defensive capable light in that you can't access turbo quickly. If I double press, I'll get that UV light. However, if I turn on the light and then double press, it'll go straight to turbo. So I can do that. And of course, from off or any other time, you can triple press for strobe, which I will not do in this video. The output is really high, but it is incredibly floody. So it's 1200 lumens, the same as the Baton 3, but it has a lower candela rating because it is so floody. So just keep that in mind. You can hold press like I said, to get the moonlight. And if I come on, I can then hold it to get access to one of 3 modes. And it's kind of the same sort of thing you've seen before. So the high is 600. That goes for 50 minutes. Actually, you know, now that I'm looking at it, this is higher output and runs a little bit longer than even the Baton 3. So pretty cool. Nice run times they've been able to do with this. So that is something that I'm actually quite impressed with. So there is a little bit of a difference there. It's definitely a consideration and may or may not go in my rotation. One of the benefits of the Baton 3 is the size. This is quite a bit bigger than that. And yeah, hold on one second. Let me go get that. All right, so here is the Baton 3. So you can see there's a pretty substantial difference here in size. And yet we do have, if I remember correctly, I think it's a, yeah, that's what it is. This is a 18350. So there is a difference in size of the battery, and that would explain the runtime difference. This is a 16340 or a CR123 size. So you can see there is a significant difference in size of these batteries. So very cool. Once again, magnetic charging, similar user interface, but actually the addition of that UV light, I don't know about that. I got to think on it a little bit more, but I like the form factor. I think the form factor is great. The pocket clip is nice on this one as well. Reversible, going to be very easy to use, and it'll still function as a dangler for my keys the same way the Baton 3 will. So I'm a big fan of both of those things. So nicely done by Olight in this sale. Definitely some things to look at and consider. I'm going to play a lot more with this Seeker 4 Mini, but I'm curious to see what you guys think of it down in the comments. Is this functionality that you find useful? What are the applications for a UV light? I mean, there's some obvious ones like in a hotel room, checking body, fluids, but frankly, sometimes I just don't want to know. At least that's my personal feeling on it. But curious to see what you guys think. Anyway, as always, thank you for your time. And if you're interested in this sale, I'll put a link to that down below. And I appreciate you guys for using that link. You guys have a good one, and we'll talk again soon.